Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Madison. Thank you for choosing to spend this time with us. Whether online or in person, we feel your presence. After the service, we invite you to join us down in the Namaste Cafe in the lower level for refreshments. I'm Carol Harm, and I will be your worship assistant today. And we will start by standing and singing the Zulu Personal Declaration.
I am alive. I am alive. I am alive. I am unique. I am the essence. I forever evolve inwardly, outwardly. I am the face of humanity. The face of humanity is my face. I am alive. I am alive. I am alive. I am unique. I am the essence. I forever evolve inwardly, outwardly. I am the face of humanity. The face of humanity is my face. I am alive. I am alive. I am alive. I am alive.
Thank you. Please be seated. And I'm going to bring up our prayer chaplain for today, Mary Lynn Mell. After the service, Mary Lynn will be available to pray with you in the prayer corner. Written requests may also be placed in the prayer box outside the chaplain corner. Written prayer requests and verbal, if you would like, will be held in prayer for 30 days and then are sent to Silent Unity to be held in prayer for another 30 days. So Mary Lynn, would you come up and do our opening prayer?
Thanks, Carol. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So let's just start out with a couple long, slow, cleansing breaths. Just really grounding ourselves into this present moment. And as we breathe, we concentrate on our state of oneness with Divine Spirit. Sweet Spirit, we are grateful for our Unity community and for the minister we are attracting to us, knowing that this process is unfolding in divine timing. We see ourselves continuing to grow in faith, understanding, and wisdom. We see ourselves growing more connected as we explore Unity principles and as we apply them to our lives. We release thoughts of separation and limitation, instead embracing the truth of our being. And as we recognize our oneness with each other and the divine, we truly know that all is well. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Mary Lynn. And now for our congregational song, Morning Has Broken.
Morning has recreation of the new day.
Gotta love that song. And now for our weekend updates. I was going to say announcements, but that's a very old term. So our speaker schedule will be Richard Bunch today, obviously, via video. And next Sunday, July 30th, is Reverend Aubrey Lynn Maugery of Unity of Sheboygan, and she will be here in person. Sunday, August 6th, yeah, oh yeah, you can say that. Sunday, August 6th, we'll have Barry Roberts, our licensed Unity teacher, here in person, also oh yay. And Sunday, August 13th, Reverend Tom Wendt will be here in person. Also yay. Okay, and I'm gonna ask Karen Lund to come up and talk a little bit about Christmas in July.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Karen Lund, an elf for Christmas in July. Christmas in July will be celebrated every Sunday this month. For those who may be new, this is an annual fundraiser for domestic abuse intervention services or days. This is our 20th anniversary. Christmas in July is one way that we as a community put love into action. Our acts of kindness help those who experience the heartbreak of being abused by a partner. Our special focus this year, is on children's services at DAIS and how children are affected by parental abuse. We raised $3,259 last year. That was wonderful, and we hope we do even better this year. You can donate in 4 ways. Place cash or checks in the donation box on our display table up here. The checks should be made out to Domestic Abuse Intervention Services. Or you can mail a check made out to DAIS to the Unity office. Donate online at our dedicated secure link for DAIS. You'll find the link in our weekly e-blast. You can also find it by Googling Domestic Abuse Intervention Services Christmas in July. Or share the online link to friends and family through email or social media to broaden our reach. And just so you know, next Sunday will be your last chance to donate. We hope you stop by our table to chat and pick up information about DAIS and their services. There will be a wish list on the table for anyone who is interested in donating to that during the year. DAIS continues to operate because of community support like ours. Thank you for your generosity and love.
All right. And then the Fourth Friday Fellowship continues this month, Friday, July 28th at 10 a.m. at the Lakeside Street Coffee House, 402 West Lakeside Street. And please join us for great conversation and fellowship. All right. And here's a new announcement. There's going to be a new Q&A for prayer chaplains. The prayer chaplain team will be offering a Q&A on Sunday, August 6th after the service at 11:45 here in the sanctuary for anyone interested in the prayer chaplain program. Please talk to any of the prayer chaplains or Mary Lynn Mel via the church office with questions. So, all right. And then there are many more events, so just feel free to check out our online calendar at unityofmadison.org. Okay. And let's see. All right. No board report today. You'll get that next week. So I'd like to welcome any first-timers that are joining us here for the first time this morning. Unity of Madison is an inclusive spiritual community that welcomes people of all faiths and backgrounds We acknowledge the wisdom of all spiritual traditions and respect each individual's right to choose a spiritual path. Our goal is to empower and encourage each other on our spiritual journey. If you would like to know more about Unity of Madison, there are informational packets at the back table as you exit. If you are online, you can request a packet from the website at www.unity.org or send us an email at office@unityofmadison.org. All right, so now we'd like to say our affirmation together. Unity of Madison is abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Divine ideas flow through us. Financial resources bless us. And with God as our source, we accomplish mighty works together. And now's the time that we can greet our neighbors in whatever way you're comfortable as we sing, "Thank You for Choosing to Be Here."
The world is a better place because you are in it. The world is a better place because you are here. The world is a better place because you are in it. Thank you for choosing to be here. The world is a better place because you are in it. The world is a better place because you are here. The world is a better place because you are in it. Thank you for choosing to be here. The world is a better place because you are in it. The world is a better place because you are here. The world is a better place because you are in it. Thank you for choosing to be here.
I don't know about the rest of you, but that's where I get my hugs for the week, is when we're here in church. So, all right. And as we settle back down, I would like to introduce who our musicians are and our speakers today. Our musician, obviously, is Pete Calgaro for regular music and special music. And as I said previously, Richard Bunch will be our speaker today online. Okay. And we have a special gratitude of the week today. We are grateful for the ditch diggers. This week, a group of volunteers tackled the task of digging under the sidewalk, foraging a trench into the lawn on the Tompkins side of the building, and this will allow water from the downspout to exit into the lawn instead of pooling at the base of the church. So a big thank you for tackling the earthier task of moving water away from the building. Let's have a round of applause for John Panuska, the Glass and Hart family, Peter Schneider, and Steve Roberts. Was there anybody that got missed in there? No? Okay. All right, and now for a reading of the daily word. And there goes my pen. The word for today is, thank you, is renew. Renewal is a part of the rhythm of daily life, eating and drinking to nourish and replenish my body, resting to quiet my mind, and sleeping after a day of activity are all ways to renew myself. But sometimes those efforts aren't quite enough to sustain me. At times, when I feel drained at depth, I may need spiritual renewal. God, the one presence and power, is with me always, but it is up to me to keep my awareness of God strong. When I awaken, I say a prayer of blessing for what the day will bring. Throughout the day, I feel God's presence all around me. When I prepare for sleep, I say a prayer of gratitude for all the day has brought. In God, I am renewed moment by moment, day by day. And the scripture reading for today is from 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18. We look not at what can be seen, but what cannot be seen. For what can be seen is temporary, but what cannot be seen is eternal. And I ask you to say the affirmation with me. I am restored by the Spirit of God within me. Thank you. And now we get to hear some special music from Pete. Is this the new drum?
This is a new hand pan.
Cool.
It's called the Lumen Electroacoustical Hand Pan. So it's completely different than a regular hand pan because I'm basically playing pads instead of like a, acoustic instrument. But the nice thing about it is I can play several different hand pans from this one hand pan. So let's see here.
Good morning, Unity of Madison. It's really good to be with you again. I'm Reverend Richard Bunch, and I really look forward to the day. Last week, we started a series calling Living Untethered. It's based on a book by Michael Singer, and he's saying that you and I can live beyond the human predicament. Last week, we talked about the self. What is that inside of you that is literally projecting out into the world? And then deciding what is happening in the world and how it affects you. And we determined to call that the self. It's interesting that Charles Fillmore had a definition of the self, who is the co-founder of Unity. And he said that the self is the I am within you, the Christ within you, the individualized spirit within you, that the self is the divine within you. And so when we start to see it that way, we start to understand that the self has power, and it has power to help you manage and live your life, not in a predicament, but instead fully, free, and unlimited. And so today, as we move into this, what we want to do is talk about 3 or 4 things as we look at the self. There are 4 keys to being consciously aware. One is to be aware of matter and how matter affects us. Number 2 is to be aware of our thoughts. Where thoughts come from? What are thoughts? Number 3, to be aware of how our thoughts create emotions with us. Because we have 5 basic senses. We can see, we can smell, we can hear, and we can talk. And so we have these senses that give us the ability to understand how we are interacting in the world. And we're going to talk about each of these today because I think it's important. Now, let me say that Michael Singer spends approximately 4 chapters on each of these, sometimes 5 or 6. So as we talk about them, I'm going to have to do a lot of summarizing. And I hope that what we can do is see how these 4 keys to understanding the world and what's out there can have an effect on how we manage ourselves to not be tricked, to not be caught in the world itself. Many people live in what I call the ego predicament. This means that the ego is so wrapped up in itself that what happens is there is no room for the self. The self is not in control, but the ego is. And as we look at these 4 items, we will find that each of them gives us a key as to how we can be consciously aware of where we are, who we are, and how we're living life. So, as we continue, the first is matter. And matter is really all about understanding the Big Bang. Michael Singer in his book makes a point that the Big Bang, as we understand it in science today, and first Genesis, in the beginning, there was a void and darkness, come together, that they're not fighting each other, that actually they work with each other as we understand the origins of our universe. It was about 14 billion years ago or so that there was one atom, is what science believes now, that exploded, and that atom exploded in such a way that it created where we are and who we are today. It was the Big Bang. That's how powerful an atom is. And as the Big Bang took place, for the first 385,000 years, there was darkness. There was gaseous clouds that you could not see through, and the sun could not get through. And it took 385,000 years for the sun to burn through that gas, to burn through the clouds, so it became light enough that there was light. So when Genesis 1 says, in the beginning there was darkness, now let there be light, that took 385,000 years. And then after that, because of light, life started to form. Now, I like to call it the power of love. That love is the power behind all creation. That love, through the self, wanted to express itself. And therefore, as this took place, we have these millions of years that it took in order for us to understand and be part of the world in a way that we are in control and the world is not in control of us. What happened was that over time, the Big Bang created matter. Matter are the elements. And it took billions of years for the Earth to become at a degree of temperature, become cool enough in order to understand, in order to create the matter. And these are the 92 elements we have on Earth. That's our matter. That's the matter that you and I can see. I mean, or can't see. There's hydrogen, there's oxygen, there's iron, magnesium, on and on we can go with the elements. And these 92 elements come together in order for us to be able to see something what we believe is solid. And as we move through this universe of change, that eventually, as you can see on the chart, humankind came into being. And they say around 25,000 years ago, humankind began to think. Where am I? Why am I here? What created this? And from that, philosophy and religion grew. And so this Big Bang means that you and I today are an important part of every moment that we are aware of. And there are many moments. There are always moments in the universe, one after another after another. And for about 80 years or so, you and I get to notice those moments or not notice those moments. It's up to us. What we make of a moment is very important because the moment many times makes our day. And so, first of all, we have this concept of matter. Now, the next concept we have is a concept of emotions. What you and I project out into the universe, into the world, create emotions within us. We can have good days, we can have bad days. We can have good moments, we can have bad moments. It's really up to us. And so all of these emotions that you see on these folks' faces are the emotions that you and I experience during a given moment or during a given day. And it's these emotions most often that affect our thinking, affect our ability to either control our thoughts or not control our thoughts. Michael Singer in his book talks about how important a moment is. And the example he gives is the example of a dinosaur. And a dinosaur is roaming the earth, and a dinosaur, the big, has a huge, huge footprint. So a dinosaur makes a footprint. The dinosaurs become extinct, but the world is still created through the beauty of rain and the beauty of breathing. And so what happens is this big, giant footstep becomes a lake. It is filled with water, it expands, and all of a sudden it's a lake. And then it's an ocean. And when there is this water, because it's life bringing, when there is water, what happens is that people gather there. Fish are there. Animals surround a place of water because it is life-giving. And then people begin to come there. So the dinosaur made a footprint, a lake or a body of water then was created. Then, because water sustains life, people were drawn to it. And as they were drawn to this water, what happened is that the tribes were created, families came into being. And these families that came together as tribes had a man and a woman. And that man and woman decided that they fell in love. And they had their first child. That first child could have been your great grandmother or great grandfather, either one. And now you're here because that dinosaur made a footprint in a moment. So think about it. That's not a coincidence. That happened because there is design, divine design at work in your world. And as we understand that, we understand this again, this power of emotion, the emotion of love, the emotion of joy, the emotion of feeling safe, and also the emotion of fear, the emotion of anger, the emotion of sadness. All of those make up within us a projection on how we see the world. And if we're not in charge of those emotions, what happens is that we become part of the human predicament. And what we want to understand is that we don't have to be in the human predicament, that our emotions control us if we allow them to, or we control and decide how our emotions are to act and react within us. It's up to you and me. And we go back to the self to manage that. And then there are thoughts. And what are thoughts? Well, most of us in Unity would say that thoughts are divine in nature. There is this thing called divine thought, divine mind. It creates thoughts. It's where thoughts come from. It is the self that generally creates thoughts. So you are creating thoughts, and yet you can't really identify where it comes from, but you know you are. So if somebody said you can't create thoughts, you would think, yes, I can. There's no doubt about it. You would probably be willing to argue that point if you needed to. And so our thoughts start to generate. And as those thoughts begin to come together, they create an image, which you and I call imagination. And those images, when we focus on them long enough, become a part of our world. They demonstrate in our world. They demonstrate as pain, or they demonstrate as comfort. They demonstrate as courage and strength, or they demonstrate as I want to run away because I either want to fight or I want to flight my life. And if I'm willing to fight, I make a stand. And that creates even more of a predicament because it's in the fighting that we create what we call resistance. And all of life is about resistance and acceptance. So what Michael Singer is saying is that in the moment that our thoughts can be controlled and not be resistant to what's going on, but to be accepting of what's going on. And when we do that, the self can be even more helpful to us, more penetrating into our beingness and guiding and directing us as to what are the right and perfect steps for us to take so that we can have the most wonderful journey possible on this earth. However, we do live in the human condition. We live in the world. And when we experience the world, we experience it in a lot of different ways. And we experience it at a lot of different ages. And we experience a lot of different moments. What happens, because we're in the world, is that when we experience a moment and we think it's bad, we think it hurts, that we don't forget that moment. We actually carry it with us. And even though it was in the moment, it's now part of our life. And it stays in our life because we hang on to it as a remembrance of something that was comfortable or uncomfortable. Most of the times, our moments can be uncomfortable. That's what it means about being in the world. So how do I live in the world and at the same time understand that I am able to be in charge of my world? Now, I'm in the human condition. Things are going to happen to me. Things that I would not like to happen to me are going to happen to me. I'm going to have disease once in a while. I'm going to have hurt once in a while. I'm going to have an emotional trauma once in a while. And it's in those circumstances that I can decide how I want to show up and how I want to be part of the world by responding to what's happening. That means becoming a maker, okay, if you would, of what's happening, and to be in charge of my life, so that the human condition does not control me, so that I cannot use the self to create the ideas that would keep me in, not keep me in bondage, that would free me, that would give me liberty. And so as we think about it, when we look at our emotions, when we look at the way we have been created and how we were created through the power of love, when we look at our thoughts and how our thoughts become images, that these are divine thoughts. Every thought you have is divine. How you use it depends upon whether it's divine in nature or whether it is part of the world and not divine in nature. You have that power to move further and to create your life in such a way that the creation you are, being a thinker, having emotions, having thoughts that come from those emotions many times, and being in the world. When you put those four together, what we're learning to do is manage ourselves, understand ourselves, understand how, through this Big Bang theory, that atoms became molecules. Molecules formed, and as they formed beingness. They formed the being that you are, the human being, eventually. And it took billions of years for that to happen, millions, billions of years for that to happen. And so as that took place, you and I are brought into the world, and we have the ability to be in the world comfortably or uncomfortably. And it's how we allow the self to project into the world and how we control our emotions, how we control what's happening, how we understand that we're living in a moment and that we have the power to make it a good moment or what we might call a bad moment. Sometimes we need to have what we think is the bad moment to create a good moment. And so Michael Singer, through these ideas and thoughts, is saying that you and I have the ability to learn to let go. And what he teaches us is how do we do that? And then how do we live in self-acceptance? Those are the next two topics that I'll be talking about from this book called Living Untethered. I believe that when we put in the power of love with the power of strength and courage, with the power of life, that we can enjoy ourselves, that we can be amazed and live in awe of all that's happening around us, that there is no coincidence. Instead, there is not a plan that says, here's what's going to happen. Being in life as prescribed by a greater power that says, here's everything's going to happen, here's how it's going to happen, and you are kind of like an animal who is on a chain and who is going to follow directions. That's not what I'm talking about. What we are is we are living in a universe that has designed you, but it's not designed to control you. It's designed so you can control your universe. And that means, again, that we go beyond the human predicament. I look forward to the last 2 weeks in August, where we continue the discussion and where we again look at learning to let go of our predicaments and learning to be self-acceptance. God bless. And now let's take a moment to go into
Grace is here. Grace will hold you and fold you in its arms. Grace will heal you and protect you, and grace will keep you safe. Peace is here. Peace will hold you and hold you in its arms. Peace will heal you and protect you, and peace will keep you calm. Joy is here. Joy will hold you and fold you in its arms. Joy will heal you and protect you, and joy will live in you. Love is here. Love will hold you and fold you in its arms. Love will heal you and protect you, and love will lead you home.
And as we do this, this time to become settled, to be in this now moment, to live in this now moment so that we are free. We are able to have great expectations of ourselves, not others. To be in this moment so that we are allowing the self to be in control of the world. to be in control of our emotions, to be in control of our thoughts. And now, just gently, as we go into silence, allow whatever thought comes to just fade away in these next few minutes of silence. Now, let us be in the silence. And now, just feel how comfortable you are. Feel yourself relaxed. And take that feeling with you out of this time of meditation. Be present in your surroundings, in this here and now, knowing that the Christ within you, the I am within you, has the power to guide and direct you during this coming week. And so it is. Namaste.
Radiant one, you shine always. Even darkness shines when we remember. Focus your light within us, make it useful. Create your reign of unity now. Help us to love beyond our ideals and sprout acts of compassion for all creatures. Animate earth within us so we can feel the wisdom underneath, supporting all. Untangle the knots within so that we can mend our hearts. Simple ties to others, deceive neither by the outer nor the inner. Free us to walk your path with joy. For you is born, O ruling will, the power and life to do the song that beautifies all. From age to age it renews. Truly power to these words, may they be the ground from which all my actions grow. Amen.
It's interesting that Reverend Richard talked about water. I really didn't know what he was going to talk about. But this song's called I'll Meet You at the Waterfall.
Meet me at the waterfall, we'll watch the water flow. Meet me at the waterfall, there's nothing we need to know. We'll watch the water fall over the edge and wonder what it's like to take that leap of thunder. It's so good for my soul. Meet you at the waterfall. We'll let the present flow. I'll meet you at the waterfall. There's nothing we need to know. Would the current grab and pull asunder? Would it shake and wake us from our slumber? We'll journey to the waterfall. We'll let the present flow. We'll journey to the waterfall. There's nothing we need to know. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Can we trust in the flow? I'll meet you at the waterfall. We'll let the present flow. I'll meet you at the waterfall. There's nothing we need to know. Nothing we need to know. Nothing we need to know.
Kind of this morning-ish.
It's too bad we don't have any talented people here. Sucks. Okay. Now is the time when we collect our offerings, so please take your tithes and offerings in your hands or place them over your heart as we say together our offertory blessing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And ushers can come forward.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And would the ushers come forward? Okay. Please join me in blessing this offering. We are grateful for these tithes and offerings. We bless them and send them forth to do their great and mighty work. Thank you. All right, and now it's time for our youth prayer together. We are now open our hearts to the children and families seeking a welcoming spiritual community filled with light and love. And so it is. Amen. And I don't see any children back there at this moment, but I'm suspecting they'll be coming shortly. So let's go ahead and start singing them in.
We are walking as a light, as a light, as a light. We are walking as a light, as a light of love. As a light, as the light, as a light, as the light, as a light, as a light, as a light of love. We are walking as a light, as a light, as a light. We are walking as a light, as a light of God. As a light, 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 as a light of God. We are walking as a light, as a light, as a light. We are walking as a light, as a light of God. As a light, 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 as a light of God. We are walking as a light, as a light, as a light. We are walking as a light, as a light of God. As a light, 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 as a light of God.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, we had an awesome morning, didn't we? So much fun. So last week, Rosalie suggested that we make fairy houses outside, so that's what we did. We brought a bunch of natural items to make a beautiful house. So when you go out, it's on Groveland. It's leaning up against the tree in the shade. Go take a look. It's really nice. And we talked all about being thoughtful to the environment. We talked about fairies. We shared stories that we knew about fairies. We used our imagination. We worked together. We talked about how to be kind to insects and how to... Oh, do you want to show your outfit? Yeah, isn't that beautiful? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyone want to share? Yeah.
I made a garden.
Garden, yeah.
I have no hands.
Anyone else?
She made an enchanted garden.
Oh, Arya wants to say something? Yeah.
Actually, no? Okay. No worries. Anyone else want to say? Yeah? What did you make?
I brought a fairy house and I put these flowers on top of the ends of sticks.
Thank you.
That sounds like it was a lot of fun. All right. So please join me in blessing our youth ed department and children. Okay. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. So if the children would like to go find whoever they came with today, then we will all stand and join hands and sing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, family all are we.
And now let's say together our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is swell. Swell. It's all